Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khairul mursaleen. Muhammadin an-Nabi al-Ummi. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd, yaqulu Allahu ta'ala fil Quran al-Kareem. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala an-Nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu tasliman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dear believers, I'm going to start off by dealing with mostly this is since let's see, what is this, the 29th? Yeah. 29th of November, we're getting ready to go to California, inshallah, Saturday, around Saturday. I mean, I could be persuaded to stay this Sunday, but I'm getting out of here though soon. I'm not going to, Allah let you know when your welcome is over. I have passed out this, you'll be able to read it. It talks about protracted struggle. Right. Destabilizing, step 1. Temporary transformation, step 2. Organizing unity of opposition, semi-consolidation, step 3. Step 4, regional vision, step 5, victory. If someone were to remember some of our ayats, our writings like in 2004 about Iraq, we called it another Islamic state, you know. And in that article, we said that we would get 65% of what we wanted. It won't be no Islamic state like Iran where we get 90, 95, up in the high 90s of what we think is right. That's fine. But in Iraq, we projected that we would get 65% of what we want. I'm telling you, it's getting a little close. So on the back page of this, it has a date. It has grassy knoll, and it has 4/16/11. In my book, that page is in front of this, but I put these, the back page and the front page here, because the other page has 4/17/11 down at the bottom. That's just to show when that was. You know. And up here we have what's called transforecasting. Transforecasting, we can imagine what it is. It's forecasting, but you're doing it way ahead of time. Okay, what we want to do in this is explain. We have to explain to people a little bit about what we are and what we view ourselves as, and what we view our mission as, and what we've already accomplished. You know, what we've already accomplished. Not what we hope to do, a lot of that is here tonight, but what we've already done. See, we've already snatched the record on longevity, stickability, durability, tenacity, continuity, you know, keeping on moving in front of all kind of fitna. Now, all of us here have seen tons and tons of fitna. Tons and tons of fitna. But we're still here. Not only we're still here, but we are here under the same guidelines that we had described for ourselves. You know, that we chose and selected for our own self, so that in our arsenal we would have kindness. Now that kindness means that we would maintain an aura of kindness under any and all circumstances. That no matter what the system did to us, right, we would still remain kind. not only kindness for kindness' sake, but kindness for movement's sake, kindness for historical sake, and above all, kindness, right, for Quranic sake. Because our mission, goals, attitude, standard of operation has always been the Quran, the Sunnah, history, and our own background, our own experience, our own how it fits into us. And actually, I'm proud of our organization. I did a little reading in the last few days, Sayyid Qutb, Imam Hassan al-Banna, you know, the structural formation books and guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And I was amazed at how close we stick to that part which is good, that we had chosen, that we had studied our brothers years ago, decades and decades ago, and we said then that we would adhere to those things that are good for us. So this transforecasting means that you're going to anticipate what you're going to come up against. You can only anticipate that if you know your enemy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to know what you're talking about. If you're a hunter, if you're going to move to the level of not being the hunted and move to the level of competitor with the system. See, before we were the game of the system was so big and so well structured that it could attack us at will. This is in the early stages. This is going back way back past 30 years ago. As time come closer to today, we became competitors with the system. That means they hit us sometime, we hit them sometime, right? But they can never throw us off base. They can never send us in the wrong direction, you see. So one of the things in this transforecasting means that history has shown that you're going to encounter tons and tons and tons of opposition. You have to learn how to turn all opposition and obstacles into challenges and opportunities. It's necessary that you have to train yourself to not say, oh, I don't want them to do this, oh, I don't want them to do that. Now, all my friends in California and a lot of the Muslims here, when they question, how's your health? I'd have to go through a whole thing, the stuff they did, that must have been 15, boy, almost, at least 15 years ago, right? Like my health is going down, I'm ready to take a bad turn, right? I'm out there lifting iron and doing everything better now than I was then. So whatever I got that was stupid, they gave it to me. You know what I mean? And we went right on past that like it ain't nothing. Knowing the history means that, see, if you're gonna become a predator, first of all, a competitor, and then a predator, you have to know your game. You have to know their habits, eating habits, resting habits, sleeping habits, what they do, right? If you call yourself a hunter and you don't know nothing about the game and how they eat, where they do this, that, and other, you're not hunting, you're just walking in the woods, right? If you don't know nothing about, you're gonna go hunt caribou. You don't know nothing about where they go, what they do. When they get to a stream, do they go way down, they go to shallow part, they swim on the cross. Of course, they swim on the cross. You see them all the time doing it. Okay, so if it's another kind of low deer, he can't just swim across. No, he gonna stay over here or wait till he can find a little shallow water. If you don't find no shallow water, he's just going back and knock himself out. So if you don't know your target, you're not a hunter. One of the great hunters said, if you don't know that much about your game, you're just walking in the woods. You're not hunting. How do we know we've struck pay dirt when it comes to game. When we said kindness, optimism, and humor, that meant things like you got to get yourself straight before you can take on a big battle. You're going to have a big fight, you gotta tighten yourself up. You can't just, you know what I mean, first. So you got to ascertain, anticipate what is the fight going to be like. You know what I mean? First of all, who they got me fighting. Then let me go down and get all the videos on all the fights that guy done had, right? It's just simple. But we're going to play against a team. We got all of we got all of their games, everything they played, especially the last couple of years, right? And we watch them. Why? Because we're going to learn how they play their game. And we're going to see what are the things that are consistent in their game. It's simple, okay? Now, this is what we've done with the United States government and the Zionists and Saudi Arabia. We have studied them in detail. This transforecasting means we're going to forecast out into the future. You see? And when you do that now, you're going out on a limb. That's why I gave y'all that one right there. Now let's use this as a starting point. At the top it says protracted struggle, right? It's the one on the top. On the next page it has the dates. It has 4/16/11. It has grassy knoll. These were the notes from the rally against invasion of Libya. Okay, now this is 4/16/2011. This right here is 4/28/2011. After I gave this talk, the white folks was hopping mad. Here's what they did. You can see what they did. This is April 28, 2000. This is 2 weeks later. This is 2 weeks later. This is like a wanted poster. There's Imam Jamil at the top, our friend and our brother, right? Serving a life sentence without possibility of parole, right? It has Imam Lukman from Detroit, shot 18 times or 21 times, according to what, right? And then they have me. They mad. They want, nigga, you better shut up or you next. Everybody know what you don't have to have no education at all to know what that means. Right? You don't have to have no education at all to know what that means. That is very clear. Why is this so important right here? Let's go over it a minute. Right now, at that time, now this is 5.5 years ago, and we're saying about the Great Arab Spring, we say this is a protracted struggle over a long period of time. Here are the steps and stages that we're going to go through. Step one, destabilizing. They destabilize the Egyptian government. They get rid of Mubarak. They roll him in and out, right? So then there's going to be temporary transformation. He goes to jail. Oh, look like here come the Ikhwan jumping in there like a fool, right? And think they're going to be, Musa going to be the president and all that. Now, we here remember our lectures, there will be no Arab Spring. The street prayer and the guy from the UK that runs the Islamic Human Rights Institute, they called me from Tahrir Square. There is because I'm saying there ain't gonna be no revolution. There ain't no revolution. Well, how they know, that's what I'm saying. I have no idea. But they want to convince me it is a revolution. I said, okay, fine. I don't believe it. step, there'll be temporary transformation. But you can see they don't mean no good for nobody, because Bahrain Pearl Square is up in arms the same way they are in Tahrir Square. But they're closing down Pearl Square because they can't manipulate and they can't control that. But the one in Egypt, they got that under total control. So now here's what's happening. Step 3 is organizing unity of opposition, semi-consolidation. Now, I'm going to jump from all of those years up to right now. We're right smack dab in the middle of step 3, getting ready to go to step 4. Unavoidable step 4. Now, let me kind of see, what am I talking about? That regional vision and unity, unity will be the vehicle after this destabilization. We're going to have a regionally trained, battle-hardened military presence. This is dangerous for the Americans, and it's super dangerous for the Zionists. That's why they wanted to get rid of, after they have a fight like Saddam and them, they want to degrade his army, because he'd be a threat now to the Zionists. But look what they've done now. And I was waiting for a good sign. When they cracked open the day, they said they're just about to knock over Mosul, right, in the north of Iraq, and the crazy people and went fully crazy. Daesh, they running scared. They know all the wrong they done, and they in a panic now. So they're crumbling. Aleppo, soon as they bombed all last week, they were slaughtering poor people on the western side. But a day and a half ago, they made, 3 days ago, they made a move on it. Syrian forces. And now, this morning they said they had 1/3 of it. By noon, they had half of it. So that means if you've gone that far, you got the momentum, it's gone. But what do we have? All the stuff we was talking about here. Don't worry about whether you know how it's going. You ain't got no crystal ball. But we have a strategic alliance between Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Russia. Russia covering all the bases, sending the mobile hospitals. Oh, we just ain't gonna hurt nobody. We just not. Putin is smart, old cracker. He's a smart Euro-Asian. He's a Eurasian. He ain't no European. Russia ain't Eurasian. I guess that's what they call him. He looks like a regular white man, but he's a Eurasian. But look what we got. We got the Syrian army, battle-hardened. We got the Kurds, battle-hardened, trained. We got the whole big, gigantic Iraqi army, able to coordinate attacks, to supply, to make multiple attacks in different places, all at the same time. They are now a functional military force. There's only a few crackers there, and they ain't telling them what to do. They're doing that on their own. You see what I mean? And you got Iranians, of course. There ain't too many. Got Hezbollah there. Hey, man. Just think, you already have a consolidated force. We didn't have to know how it was going to be. I ain't no sense of me lying. I didn't have no idea. I wouldn't even, if you'd asked me, well, Russia going to come in on our side, I'd have said, I don't know, how do you know that? I wouldn't have necessarily believed it. I mean, I couldn't oppose it, but I wouldn't have. And Hey man, this is number 3. This is a gold medal winner already. If nothing else happened, we done already struck pay dirt. None of their analysts, what I'm trying to say is none of their analysts come close to anything like this. It's only the Negro that told them this stuff. We got it right here in black and white, or faded, black, white, and faded, right? Organizing, step 3, unity of opposition. It's a unified force. Years ago, Iran was all by itself. Iraq was always crushed, or on the wrong side. Or we had a dummy in there, Maliki, what is his name, right? Now, hey man, they ain't all roses, but step by step, we done hit number 3. Now, number 4, regional vision. Number 5, victory. Regional vision is automatic. The trend is automatic. You know, I mean, like, first of all, we anticipate certain things to go along with this. Saudi Arabia then went crazy and it's run its own people crazy and they going broke and everything else. So Saudi Arabia is having a weaker hold on its own people. It's attacked Yemen, right? Everybody's trying to tell us that it's a big Sunni Shia anti. It ain't no big super. Everybody is waking up to who the fool is.
Why does the U.S. have to go into Yemen?
Huh?
Why does the U.S. have to go into Yemen?
Because whoever their friends are, they can do what they want. Right? Pinochet in Chile could do whatever they want to Salvador Allende because Salvador Allende had did some good social programs. They tried to assassinate Fidel, like he don't even know how many times. He just says some big number like hundreds of times, right? He probably don't even know or didn't know. Our enemies, they can do anything they want to us and say, Imam Musa oppressed us. The Negroes in California can come and have guns, and the police come and block the way so they can get away. They give our money to Negroes that ain't never put nothing. We find a Negro with a monkey suit on at McDonald's and telling me he have to chase down the bad guys. I say, you can't be As-Sabiqun running down no nigga that's starving to death and snatch a hamburger. You know what I mean? They're saying, what do you want? Here's your bag, now it'll be $5.25. And he run off, and Mukhtar catch him and hold him down for the police. I said, you can't do that, part of Sabiqun. I say, when he run out the door, you run out hollering, oh, you trip and fall, you do all that, but you don't catch nobody and take him back to the white man for no sandwich. And then he'd tell everybody, him and Khadijah tell everybody, we done run off with, we're oppressing them. I don't want to get into them because technically we've so far, see, here's what we do. This stage, we've so far outgrown everything and everybody. When we talk about going beyond, above and beyond and Star Trekism, we done Star Trek 3 or 4 times in a row. No, we have. We've exceeded expectations on well, look at here. How many, we done had 3 sets of people just up and leave. For what? I don't know. But it's always our fault. They go over somewhere and sit there and look sad, and then they disappear. Or some people that are here with all those good programs that we studied, you know, we studied Sharia, good God Almighty, we studied our articles, we studied, some people we say, well, why don't you teach from Reliance of the Traveler, all that. We studied the best. Over those 15 years, you know, everybody here can handle themselves in any discussion about Islam.
With confidence.
With confidence. And we take it as just, you know, this is just what we do. This is what we do. But any movement, any organization, each person in that should be able to make independent ideas. He followed leadership because he knows it's right, because he got all the stuff here, the criteria to see, do this, he do that, okay, he's all right with me. Oh, you're doing that. Well, you know, the guidelines, we have to discuss this. That's what a good community is. They follow, they support each other, they stick by each other. But if something come up funny, you go back to the guidelines, you say, this looks a little funny, dear brother, what's happening? Right? You don't run down to the white man's porch and stand up on the white man's porch. These people oppress us, they this, that, and another. Oh, how did that happen? I mean, you ain't even said nothing sitting in the front room. So now, you got to think about this. I listened to the Department of Strategic Studies and all of them people too. C-SPAN white folks, you know. They can't touch us. I'm saying this so you know. All of they big time sheikhs and all of that, they are not on the right road. They never even come close to none of that like this. They never, doing this regional vision, our strategic alliance, Syria, Iraq, Iran, and Russia, that's just the beginning strategic alliance. We know Yemen, they just established the government today, didn't they? They just established, hey man. So
the strategic alliance is going to grow.
The strategic alliance, Saudi Arabia been harassing Bahrain. Bahrain is 80% Shia. It has to go. That's just, there's no other way. They won't stop. They won't share power. It just has to go. It's too many. The population is too overwhelming. And even all the Sunnis are not for all of that. Putting doctors in jail for putting a bandage on you. You putting nurses in jail for, you know, putting up a line and giving you a job. Doing their job. That's their oath to do.
Right.
They got to do that. They got to help people. Okay. Saudi Arabia, eastern provinces, especially Qatif and other parts, they have been overbearing on the people. We believe it's yes.
It's amazing. They going broke. They are oppressing Bahrain. That's where all the money's at. All the wars in that section. They are stupid, man.
Okay, they're doing that, like you say, eastern provinces is all oil. That's okay. Sometimes I do wonder a little bit. Brother Abdul Haq and I we used to call it the Abidam effect. We would discuss these things, and they would actually do it. It's Abidam. They did it. I mean, they did it. I mean, it's like, you know, the guy actually pulled a pistol out of his holster, put the gun to his head, and pulled the trigger. I'll be damned. He actually did it. Look at everything they do. That's what it is. Now, here in America, the people don't have enough confidence. See, they remember the big boy when he was the big boy, and they don't know. They don't read the signs when, you know, all champions, they get old. Just get old. It's just a historical reality. You can't be the champion forever. You can do like Muhammad Ali, do a couple things wrong, and then take a rest, come back, and be really on your job, and come back again. You can mess up and get lazy again, and then a fool beat you beyond Sphinx. But you get a second try at the fool. You become a third, right? Actually, you're lucky. You messing up here and there, but you're lucky. But the last go round, when you got a rumble in the jungle and all of that, that's, what's the name? Thriller in Manila. Hey man, Muhammad said, look at here. He said, Joe Frazier, he didn't finish it all, but he was like, hey man, you know, can you imagine after they've been fighting in 105, 10 sweaty degrees, you be ready to cut these gloves off. I ain't doing no more fighting. I mean, that's the way you feel then after you get a little rest. But when he said, Joe Frazier, that boy is serious. He said something like that, didn't he?
Yeah, he was at the end of the 14th round, he'd sit down, he told him, he said, cut the gloves off. In other words, I have had enough of this little so-and-so, but Frazier, you know, he couldn't see out of his eye. I need to put something on it.
Right.
And his trainer told him, said, look, man, don't go out there because I want you to be able to see your grandkids.
Right.
But all he did say that, he said, cut the gloves off. This little pit bull here, and he done took me to the limit.
Hey, that's right. Hey, man, enough is enough. So, see, that's when you're a real champion, when you know your limits. Now, we are just evolving. We're not even in the championship mode yet. But we are on the way up, and Massa on the way down. That's just reality. Yes.
Will you say something a little bit, just briefly, about the decline of empires? Because I don't think people need to see that, or the decline of empires. This is a natural thing. Just, you know, talk about the birth. You know do it.
We was talking about birth, growth, decline, and death. This is a cycle of any movement, organization, tree, person, everything. It's born, it grows, if it's lucky. It grows, gets stronger and taller, and then starts to decline. Less leaves on the tree, less food production. It still produces a little bit. And then pretty soon, it just starts cracking up and dying. Every civilization is like that, and there's some, I don't have it right before me, but civilizations have certain stages. The tough stage, when it's pioneers, everybody's pretty tough there. They pull, and they pretty tough.
Hungry.
They're hungry. They're just like a fighter. Okay, then after they do that, they go into the expansion stage. Then they go into the educational, and they go into the trade stage. They're in the big time now. Then they go into the party stage after that. Yeah, partying, sex, drugs, what is Rome here? The money is inflated, all kind of stuff like that. They get loose now.
Sports.
Sports. When they show you Rome, what are they doing all day?
Right.
Just the Colosseum.
Right.
You know, they did that for hundreds of years. That wasn't no 50 years. No, that was like about 400 or 500 years. That was a 500-year period, at least. Everybody just going down to the arena, to the Coliseum, and watching people get cut all up and beat up. But I want to continue, and I want to wrap this part up about us. Protracted long-range struggle. Step 1, destabilization. Step 2, temporary transformation. Step 3, organizing, unity of opposition, semi-consolidation. That's what's going on right now. No matter what anybody, see, the West don't know what they're doing, and neither does, they have produced this. See, remember, when it's time to go down, the one that's going down will help enhance his degeneration by the decisions that he makes. Overwhelming dependence on military power. That's a beautiful article, Why America Loses All Its Small Wars. Korea, Vietnam, right? Iraq, Afghanistan. And these idiots, remember a couple of years ago they killed the people in Afghanistan and urinated on them? I don't know if you remember that. What do they think people are? You know, and they go out night hunting.
Oh yeah, when they went through the of course.
And then you see the guys laying there with shovels and wheelbarrows around there, so they're farmers.
Right.
Now, right now, today, we have a well-trained, large military presence. The Iranian army speaks for itself. Hezbollah is smaller, but it speaks for itself, right? Iraq is a huge military presence.
They just, didn't the Sunni Sheikh just allowed the Shia to have their own military force in
Iraq? They did that yesterday. They said that the volunteer forces is now incorporated into it and they have their own.
Right.
Well, they haven't had to do that. But anyway, what it means is that they're solving their problems.
Mm.
That's part of this consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
In a short time, they got now a regional vision. It's not just Iran, it's not just us anymore. We got this whole, see, and it's handed to the Shia community. Oh, they trying to get around that handkerchief-headed Shias. Oh, and the diplomats, they hate to see me coming. Yeah. Last conference, that's what I talked about. I'm going to talk about it again this time. I don't care what they give me. And I'm going to be definitely specific. No matter how much time they give me and try to zoop something off, I said, ain't going. This is where we at. And this is where we got to be, you know. And we got our eyes on you. You know, and you know the last 40 years we ain't been wrong. With them, they know all of these prediction and forecasts. We was doing it with them. They used to come ask me, what are we going to do? You know, like what's going to happen in Iran? And I run it just like I was the Iranian scholar from everywhere. Yeah. The brothers, you ask any of them, the big shots, what are we going to do? That shocked Abdul-Malik when we went, it was the King George Hotel, I think, down in St. Louis. Henry VIII, we had a big program there, and a lot of the Iranian officials was there, and all of them Uncle Tom Negroes, they had it out that I was a stooge for the Iranians. And he was sitting there with us, and the head Iranian, he had to talk to, we had this new trend, it's a long story, but he wanted to consolidate everything. He says, Imam Musa, what should I tell him? Just to show. He's the head of the whole thing. What should I tell everybody? In other words, they know who's good at putting all this stuff together. This pull me up there and I'll tell them all what we got to do, where we got to go. Thank you very much, and we'll head on in. So I said, well, da-da-da-da-da-da. Dr. Malik was looking. We went back to the room. He said, they said that you was a stooge. I said, I know what they said. So one thing about them, they niggas, and they can't help nobody, and they can't hurt nobody. So whatever they think, it don't make no difference. I said, we've been independent then, we're independent now, and right now we're independent. We help our friends, but we're still independent.
You know, that's the one thing they said about today on the PFW, they were talking about Fidel Castro.
Fidel.
They said two things about him. They said his whole life as a revolutionary, he was uncompromising, and he was independent.
Yeah.
And of course, you know who that made me think about. You know what I'm saying? Uncompromising on what you're doing, and independent.
Well, when I see them old timers, you know, people that you grew up with, when I was reading about Imam Hassan al-Banna and Sayyid Qutb and Maulana Maududi, and I was breezing through the stages of revolution, something like that. Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui, you know what I was thinking? I said, man, I get a chance to do what my heroes was doing. You know, I get a chance to do just like Imam Khomeini was doing. That's what we're doing right now. We have to realize it. If the niggas don't know it, the whole rest of the world know it. They know. This is the doggone front page. This is the front in Iran. This is right here. The front. You can't get no, you know. And it says the right thing that Walayati Faqih is a check on global fitness, something like that. You know. Yeah. And they put it in there right in the newspaper. They ain't got no niggas in no newspaper. They got them shining shoes and kissing people's behind. The president of Iran, we just interrupted the last show a few months ago. We just they had the Negroes and talking crazy. And I said, I can't stand it anymore. And he had, now I just can't stand it no more. I said, hey, I can't stand it no more. I said, they do this every year. They come in here and they say this stuff. You got to do your research. You know, they were just lying. Here's our dear friend Ahmadinejad. Boy, they don't like that. That's our friend. And this is from 35 years ago.
You were talking about
that's 35 years ago.
Listening to what you say.
Right.
The guy you just showed,
right.
You could tell that when he was the president, because everything he said in response to this country, you know somebody had to be talking to him. He just wasn't coming up with it all on his own.
Boy, he was whooping. They said, well, you guys are going to execute a woman. He said, well, I'm the president and I can't interfere with the judiciary, but don't you have a place called Virginia and you getting ready to execute, or didn't you execute a woman the other day or something? So what you talking about? They'd be just mad, hopping, jumping up and down. Let me try to get, so during this stage, we have to tell the people, look, I know you're not used to black people having any respect, and you're used to black people going in the back door, and you used to sitting behind the people of knowledge, and you don't know nothing. That's not us. That's not As-Sabiqun. As-Sabiqun is a liberation movement, a national liberation movement. We want to liberate the movement. First thing we got to do is liberate the minds of the people. We got to free the minds of the people up so they'll know that we're not freaks of nature. It's possible. You know, Abdul Malik said something to me a year or two ago. He said, you're eccentric and you're trying to turn me. I said, yeah, I'm trying to get you to do what's right. But I'm not eccentric. In other words, you're extra normal, supernatural. You're beyond, this stuff should kill you. It should take you out. I said, y'all just playing the wrong game. I ain't that stuff, you know. But no, you got to realize, imagine them. Imagine America. Their head is spinning because whatever they did to any one of our groups worked. Every time, all the time. And ain't nothing worked on us. Nothing. It haven't worked. I mean, they do their encirclement and suppression. And the people come and they sit and we teach and we teach. We pour our heart out to them. Right? They pack up and leave. Every time. That's okay. That's perfectly all right. That's part of our mission. We're going to do the same thing again. People, you're going to do the same thing. You know, say, oh, Khadijah and them and Mukhtar and them were saying, basically, you ought to quit. Don't you see that every time you do this, it happens over and over again? I said, sure. So what? That's easy. Yeah, I get the reward if I teach something. I'm going to get the reward for that. If the people don't take the teaching, that's on them. I get the reward for the teaching, right? And if they go out and slander our community and work against the community, I say, we're still viable. What are you talking about? It ain't no big thing about materialism, but we own our own property. And you look on that internet, and the world is way up on what we're about. Ain't nobody, they might have been trying to hide it for the last several years, but somebody lit a fire, I imagine it's us, under the people. Look, hey man, they coming out, they are good DVDs. There's some good stuff on there. Everything that we did almost, I said, where did this come from? I didn't even know we did it. But I remembered after I watched it, I said, yeah, man, that's nice. And I remember what we were saying. Hey, man. And so they got old programs that we did overseas. They got all kind of stuff popping up on there now. And the one on Hitlerianism, Memorex, or some of them, whatever they put it on their website, and it has 1.7K. I don't know what that means. Does that mean
170,000?
That's what that means.
170,000.
Yeah.
170,000.
That's what it has right now there, if you look on the thing. Yeah. I looked at it this morning, I said, that's a good one. This is about Hitlerianism we did the other day.
Right.
Talking about how they developed the society and how they produced that environment. And the Zionist is the one, that's probably why they put it on there, because it's anything anti-Zionist, they get mad.
Right.
And they want to discredit. And then I got a letter today from Oklahoma, name calling. You know, I said, well, one thing about it, boy, somebody's paying attention. But anyway, we have the greatest asset in the Middle East, and they the ones that produced it. Well-trained, sophisticated armies. We have Hezbollah amongst them that combine second and third generation weapons to defeat fourth generation Israelis. And now we'll have second, third, and fourth generation weapons, and we'll study how to combine those to defeat American and Zionist fifth generation weapons. We have the strongest military and power in that region, producing its own weapons. And every 4 or 5 years, they take a strategic jump. They've been doing their own drones, but when they had the American drone land intact, white folks said it crashed, but when I was in Iran, they show you the pictures of it come gliding in, what it took off from where it took off and what it did. And then they re-engineered that boy, and they showed you a few months ago, less, that exact drone. They re-engineered it.
Well, their first drone, to show you their technology. In America always talking about its technology. The way they were able to capture the thing, they reprogrammed the GPS system.
Yeah.
And landed where they felt like landing at.
Yeah. Hey.
And so, hey, and see, that's what they don't understand.
Yeah.
America's up in the ante for everybody all over the world, you know, but only they're not doing all that offensive jumping on people militarily. Because you figure Iran, for all it's gone through, it ain't attacked nobody.
No, it hasn't attacked anybody, and it's Iran is the future leader regionally. It already is, but I mean, it has to lead this charge. But the people will voluntarily come to it, or it will be an osmosis, a recognition that it is, and it will some kind of way accept the mission of this period. It is really a beautiful time. Okay, and let's see, we'll try to technically that's enough, but we'll go back and do a little bit here. Now we'll start on page 1. Y'all don't have, I just have it right here. So right now we're in a state of going to Oakland, we're going to deal with certain things. National mobilization for the Islamic liberation movement of North America. So to prepare facilities to receive certain amount of people, teach, train, and organize them. And it's for us, it's a turning point in the movement. And we have a theme, one of the themes is Stalingrad to Oakland. And if anybody had a chance to look up, if you get, look up when you just look up Stalingrad on the computer and look at it. Anybody did that?
Yeah, I have.
Good God Almighty. You see how it turned, it was a turning point of World War II. The Germans rolled it down, we're going to kick behind and take names. And everything fell apart. Everything that had been a benefit to them before turned into a liability. And everything that had been a liability to the Russians was now of a benefit. And they bogged the Germans down and they thoroughly whooped their behind. That was the turning point of World War II. Not Midway, but none of those. Like Guadalcanal, none of that. It was Stalingrad. And most of the German soldiers that died in World War II died at the hands of the Russians. The Russians gave them a terrible, terrible whooping, but the Russians lost 27, 30 million people. That's why, see, you can't go bothering people like that, that the lost numbers like that, and they ain't bat an eye. You know what I mean? And the U.S. in World War II lost 675,000 people. Technically nothing compared to everybody else.
Right.
So in Oakland, everything, that last phase that we went through was a good 4-year phase. We engineered that and we said, there are those that remember, we said this is the best period, this will be the best period that we've been through, and it's deja vu. We've seen all of this before. This will be the best encirclement and suppression type. Not only that, we're going to draw the people in deep. We drew them in deep. I know people don't, when you become a predator, you draw them in. They drew us in Oakland, we drew them in. We got them acting the dummies and the clowns. We went there and did nothing. We just go there and call, talk on the phone, and read and take notes.
The As-Sabiqun spider web.
Hey man, they got webbed to death. No, really. See, the people, and they still in shock. You got to realize, see, first thing that happens to the European and his flunkies, when they look around, this nigga done trapped us. And you standing there with a smile, yes, boss man, yes, you trapped. Ain't nothing you can do. Just like right now in the Middle East, they trapped. They trapped. It ain't nothing, whatever they do, they still trapped. Whatever happens, Iraq is still there, Iran is still there, Syria is still there. They're all well-trained and better equipped. And Iran has its own weapons production, and Russia is giving it everything else. Anything that Iran gets from Russia, they're going to copy it.
Improvise.
They're going to fix that. They're going to take it apart. Yeah.
I was reading today about the Donald been paying attention to trust me.
Yes.
Because he said something that you've always said. He was talking about his situation with Hillary and all them, and he talked about what happened, and he used the exact same words you use. He said, they don't know what to do. Talking about Hillary and her people, right? He said, they don't know what to do. I said, what? I heard that before. Because, he do that Twitter stuff. And, which means he probably goes on Yeah, Donald used one of your phrases.
Well, they gonna, any of them that's got any sense gonna, look, we're not bragging, but we've been doing this a long time. And I remember Sister Bahia was always at Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui. He went to the airport with us on April 16th in South Africa. And she was wondering, why is he sliding up to you all the time? But he was very clear. And everybody know it. He said, it's on you. It's on you. It's on you. That's why he went to the airport. And Sister Bahia, I know she was a tattletale all along. So I said, I don't know what he's talking about. This is an honor and a privilege. And he said it in public a couple of times. Because see, he knew he wasn't going back home. You know, like you know your body, you know, you say, oh man, this was, when I broke my foot one time, I said, okay, this is different than the sprain. This is broke here. You can tell, this is broke here. You don't have to go to the doctor or nothing. You just know that is broke. Don't have nobody to tell me. I already know the other stuff. And I know this ain't that. Okay. We're living a special time. And the difference with us is that we're accepting the mission. We're accepting the mission with optimism. We're accepting it without arrogance, without all of that stuff. We're keeping humor in the game. Humor means that you have to learn how to make fun of yourself and not take yourself too serious either. You know, because when you get all this big stuff flowing at you, like this time, like the brother was bringing that nice little gadget, we won't be able to get it the next few days because, I'll get back to the point in a minute, because we're getting ready to go to Oakland. Now, when they took all the money out of my accounts, we have plenty of money to pay our taxes, but Mukhtar was talking, yeah, well, I didn't pay the taxes, but he might be lying. So when I go out there, I may have to pay the whole year of taxes with the penalty for this year, and I have to pay my home taxes. So I'm gonna wait. Now, we're gonna sue them for several, sue them for $10 million, but we're not counting on that. They gotta give our money. They can't, you just can't do that. But we're not worried about that.
Right.
Now, that is a step too. That's a big step where, you know, Mukhtar is so dumb. They so dumb that, and the white man tell them stuff, and them niggas, they believe it, you know. Y'all remember the legal stuff I was showing you about? It couldn't work like that. I mean, people ain't gonna find no gun in your wife's purse. And you ain't gonna come into no airport, the customs, the famous guy in the region with no dope on you. And if they find a gun in her purse, they're not gonna take you way down the street, way nowhere, without patting you down. That's what they said, though. And then they took us to jail and come back 6 hours later and they done found more dope with the hotel package. Right? Remember what it said that that it was wrapped in the doggone, it was a receipt, the hotel receipt. Now that's convenient. I ain't never seen no dope case like that, where the nigga got his driver's license in the dope bag, in the bag of dope. You know what I mean? He sealed up and it's in the hotel. Stationery and the receipt for we stayed at the hotel with your name on it and wrapped in a plastic bag with the hotel name. Okay, so I can't tell the people, oh, Khadijah says, well, the reason you didn't do no time in the penitentiary because your daddy pulled some strings for you. This stupid nigga, this stupid nigga is so stupid. You know, they so stupid. You know, my father ran a gambling house. Traditional. He paid the vice. You know, he paid the vice. He's old time. He born in 1900. He ain't gonna be like me. I ain't going, I'm from Arkansas, I ain't gonna pay. They pay the sheriff. Hey, you can't run the gambling house and no, right? The sheriff got his little cut. That's normal. I didn't know. That's nothing. So, because when I'm getting this arrest in '67 and the police is trying to hook me in with them, my father comes around, and when he comes in the door, the police, the whole vice squad is there. They said, oh, the gambling man is here. That's my father. So I said, oh, they know the vice. So after that, I talked to him about it. He said, boy, look, they didn't offer me the same deal. So my father's saying, just give them their cut. Hell, just give them their cut. What's wrong with you? You got to do it. That's the way the game goes. I ain't getting no crackers, nothing. But there's a dope game up in my dome. They said, okay. That's the way. And he knew the game. So these fools, some dumb police and told them, well, my father was in with the police. He paid the police, and the police stole me. If I had all the money, the police stole from me. Boy, we wouldn't have no fundraisers at all. And I should have known better. When I came back to turn myself in to fight my case, I had 25 grand. What do you look up and see? Boop. You had $5,000 on your $5,000. So those old them would disappear, and the 20 grand just disappeared. I don't, you know, just like when they took the money out of the bank, it was the same as they always do. That's the way I dealt with it. I just hustled it back, that's all. That's why I wasn't turning around spending. I said, I always steal the brother's money. I ain't when I'm gonna run down there, police took my money. Police took your money, what money? $50,000. You had $50,000. Where did you get $50,000? Did you pay taxes on it? You see the receipt where you had it from. Where you get that? Right? And our police, the open police is famous for that, especially 20 years ago when I was back, good God Almighty. But yes.
If you remember American Gangster, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
When he came in, and the guy, the policeman, when he was getting married, he got married, and he stopped his car. Remember, he got married to a girl, he stopped his car, and he said, this is my cut. You know, you making all this money, so this is my cut. Just make sure you mail it every day by the 1st of the month, blah, blah, blah. And that's just...
Simple as that. Okay, the reason I had so much trouble with the police because I didn't do that. Hey, man, we playing cops and robbers. I ain't cooperating with y'all. Now, they respected me, but you got to... It costs you. Wait a minute, what do you mean? You can't... We're not asking for, we just need our regular 10%, maybe 15%, the money you're making. And the free ride, you know, the free ride, we're going to get the money one way or the other. You're going to ride in jail in and out every other day, or you're going to pay, that's what they're saying. You're going to pay up, you're going to go to jail every day. Every day. Yeah, just like I showed you, you're going to go to jail till you cooperate. And I just wouldn't cooperate. That was training. That's what Allah had already arranged that for now. So everybody looks at, oh man, they did this in Oakland, they did that, man. And they be sad, looking at them. Hell, they did nothing. Yeah. That's
because they don't know the game.
They don't know.
You know the game because you've done it.
You've evolved.
Yeah, if you've done it, it's different than, you know, somebody talking about it and observing it from a distance. They ain't involved.
No. 40 years ago, or 45 years ago, that would have been a big deal, what they was doing. Even 40 years ago. Even 35 years ago, it had you hopping mad, you know what I mean? But after the 30 years, it doesn't count. And then for 20 years, what do we call it? A trifling annoyance. It's annoying. But now, design your future. Design fitna. Well, we want them to show the world. How could we tell everybody this stuff go on? They said, poor guy be lying and be paranoid. Not now. Not now. This stuff, you see what I mean? Do you know, that's a lot of pressure off. That's a lot of pressure off. Because I can just take this right here. I can say, look, this is my poor son. He's sitting there and look at the way they did it. Yeah, there he is. No yellow tape. No investigation. No nothing. 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 Nada.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. It just didn't happen. Avalanche reports, picking up bloody shirts and sheets, you know, going through the house, picking up spent shells. None of that. Nothing. You know, I'm just trying to say is, Allah train. I'm going to go and move toward a close. Yeah. Here's what's happening. When Allah got you trained, got a fight for you, He put you through the training you're going to need for the fight. That's why the confidence comes from, and it's not an arrogance, but it's a type of confidence. Yeah, a good feeling. And we have to teach people this. This is our mission. See, the people are downcast, brokenhearted, and they, what we call, in 96, they got the 3 Ds in D.C., you know, and they are. They're discouraged, they're discombobulated, all kind of things. But we have to teach people that it's possible. It is really conceivable. And just like that shot we always talk about, that means it's done. When you make the shot and you know it's in, it's done. That's the way this is. And if you think about it, it's been like that for a long time. We had never just, holding my breath for this. I said, no, that's done. That's a done deal. Because that's the trend. That's the way it is. And we're going to keep our part of the bargain. What part of the bargain? To our people, to history, to the masses. See, it's fun for us, but it wasn't fun. It ain't fun for it. No. That white man makes people miserable, man. He make, you talk about happy? That's me. I know what he do to people, and they wasn't happy. This cracker ruins people, breaks people, chews them up, and spit them out. And I know when luck hits, you know. I know what this is. I'm not fooled by it. And Allah give you just what you need to play the game according to the way it should be played. So we are going to continue to be kind. That's why when big old girl called here the other day, I said, tell Mukhtar and Abdul-Malik I'd like to talk to them when I get out there. I do. I want to talk to them over and over and over again. We're never going to turn our back on them. As dumb as the people act, don't make no difference. Because we're the lucky. When you're the luckiest man in the world, you got to pass it around. That's just the way it is. And Allah give you the ability to move through it. See, all this stuff about, the strong brotherhood and the honorable people. Hey, man, when I left the country, I left by myself. All the honorable people, my homeboys went on about their business. Here I am getting ready to leave the country, and I said, well, my homeboy, I got to at least leave a pound of free cocaine to work with so they won't be They never traveled me down and said, man, they need $4,000 or $5,000. When you overseas, $4,000 or $5,000 is big money. Ain't nobody never called me and asked me. Man, they just bought limousines and stuff and went on like I just hey man. And they ain't wanted to hear nothing from me till I'm in the big time. I didn't even go through them. I went through my other homeboys, and when they saw them getting rich, now they want to get back. Hey there, brother. I said, that's who I am. I am your brother. Yes. All by my own black behind. Yes, by myself. You know what I mean? In other words, you do it fi sabilillah. You really do it for the cause of Allah. Not because the people are going to thank you. Not because they're going to like you. None of that. That would be fine. But generally, it don't happen. In fact, sometimes the more you help people, the more they may dislike you. Because it brings some, very few people, you go help lift somebody up out of the gutter for a couple of weeks, they're happy to get out of the gutter. And then, after about a few months, after they took 3-4 baths and they got their fingernails done, they look like you're the dumbest nigga in the world. Dumb nigga, yeah. I ought to be running this show. This is just as common. It's common, it's normal. It's something wrong. But it's natural, so you don't get hooked on it that they gotta give me a Valentine's Day box and all of that. No. You do it for the cause of Allah. And the Negro is a created being. So he's gonna do generally everything ass backwards. Almost every time.
Genetically engineered.
He's genetically psycho-engineered. The Negro, white folks ain't no better. Oh no, they crazy too. They real crazy. Everybody you almost have to be trained to be a success. You notice all the rappers and singers, they get money up big and then all of a sudden they disappear because they go crazy. Our sports people, they go crazy. They get a $10 million, $20 or $30 million contract. How much do they get now? What is a good contract now?
Well, let's put it like this. The Redskin quarterback right now, he got a 1-year contract and he's a bum. He's a bum. He got a 1-year contract with $20 million.
$20 million for 1 year?
And then if they put the franchise tag on him next year and don't give him a long-term contract, he gets a raise. So then next year, he'll be making $24 million.
For 1 year?
Oh yeah. They got guys play basketball, man. They got 4-year contracts for $120 million, $125 million.
Good God Almighty.
Because
they making big money, man.
It's better in the NBA.
Big money.
And they're going to be broke in about 15 years.
About 15
months.
More likely.
Isn't that something?
The Yahoo control all their stuff.
That's what I mean. See, okay, here we are, we're independent. You know, like you say, Fidel was independent, we're independent. We love everybody. We're going to work with people. Every now and then we feel like blowing the whistle on all of them, but actually, we ain't going to blow the whistle on too much. But every now and then you just, little stuff slip out and you just be wanting to, because they deserve it. But remember, Allah is not going to judge us by what we deserve.
Alhamdulillah.
Allah is Al-Ghafurur Rahim, all forgiving, most merciful. So we know that the human being is a concoction of stuff, and it very seldom comes out right. So we want to help as much as we can. So that's what we're going to do with the Negro. We're going to try to help. Okay. Allah allowed us sufficient skills in all the arenas. And for us, it's really a national war of liberation. That's what we title it as. To liberate the Islamic movement from foreign control and domination, inferiority complexes, sold out leadership, liberate the agenda of defeatism and an attitude of loserism and a poor self-image. That's what we're going to work toward with God's help. So the road ahead, 2017, 18, and 19. When we move ahead, we have to think about where we are as a community. Like, what's the score? You know, you got to know what the score is. You know where you got to hustle. So we have to know what the score is. That's why we go to different programs and we talk with different people, so we know where we are. Our goal is already been chosen by Allah to be a model, an example of resistance. We have resisted more fitna than any group, black or white, in American history, with the least bit of negative effect. All the other groups turn hateful and start killing, and that's we don't say Yahweh ben Yahweh, but they put so many snitches in there that the people are said to have finished off a lot of the snitches. They bring some of the people to us and they look like snitches, act like snitches, smell like snitches. They just clearly snitches. So we'll get mad and we'll do something to them. Oh no, we're not doing nothing to you. We like snitches. They exist. You can't get rid of them. Might as well learn to like them. I do. I love snitches. Hey, I'm comfortable with snitches. I'm very comfortable with snitches. It don't make no difference because most of my contacts, they get rid of all the other people. And so you learn to like them. And if it's 100 of them, in a final analysis, some of them are gonna like you. I believe that till the day, well, soon, I don't know how long I'm gonna believe it, but I believe it now. I believe that there's some good in everybody. You just gotta stick around long enough. Try not to let them kill you or anything, because they'll run over you, they do all kind of stuff, they'll forget. But in the long run, I believe this is it. You have a feeling, you know, when you shoot baskets, when you lift weights, when we used to lift heavy weights, you sit down on the bench, you gotta get this 450 pounds up. You just did one set, 400 pounds, you said. Pretty soon, you said, all right, get it to me. You lay out, give me that money. I'm ready now. Why? Because you can taste it. You visualize it going up. You got that, I got that. No problem. I know how to 400 what? And another 50 pounds. It's a whole lot when you get up there. When you get up near the end, another 5 pounds is one of them. You keep on putting on 5 pounds and you can't go no further. So that 450, I can taste it. It's going up, and it does. Because you can visualize it. You can see it. That's the way this is. This is not a far-fetched dream. It's a real live vision. And if you've had history and goal setting, goal fulfillment, and all these dreams coming to fulfillment, he goes, oh yeah, this is it. Just like we say you break your foot, all that boy is broke. This is the same way with this thing on. This is it right here. It's the same thing with this army, trained, stabilized, courageous people that it didn't exist before. They created the environment to produce some people. They trying to take them out. right? They're trying to take Iraq out. They're trying to take Syria out. They're trying to stabilize, cut Iran back. They're trying to do away with Hezbollah, but it produces the same thing what it did to all of our friends is what it do to us. By them constantly doing whatever they do and whatever they did, that is what produced the person or people that will take care of the situation. Okay. So, it's the As-Sabiqun Liberation Movement. That's basically what it is. College of Islamic Movement Studies, Department of Strategic and Islamic Studies. You know what? And we've already did that. What we was doing all this time, strategic matters under conditions of repression we're doing. Department of Strategic and Islamic Studies, all of this, that's what it is. That's what this is right here. Definition of strategic matters, situational analysis, scanning your environment, recognizing and recalling history and behavior patterns of those around you, particularly your enemy, monitoring and evaluating strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Situational analysis. Strategic formulation. This includes mission, your reason for existing, goals, steps to be accomplished, and working toward your mission, objectives, on and on and on. Number 3, strategic or strategy implementation includes programs, activities, in other words, doing it. So Imam Hassan al-Banna said that the movement goes through 3 basic stages: proclamation, invitation, and implementation. Okay, so we may have 4 or 5 because see, we got a long-range thing and it's going through over and over again. Finally, evaluation and control, monitoring performance, taking corrective action. That's what we've been doing all of this year. Evaluating what's been happened, how did it go, will we improve? You see what I mean? That's what we've been doing for ourselves. So none of this is mystery. It's all real, and we've already done it. We just got to convince people that this is not a lie. That we whooped the white man's ass. We stuck our foot in his mind, physically and psychologically. And without breaking a sweat. They don't think it's possible. Because they run everybody crazy, they run everybody broke. And they do. They've done that to every group we have. And they do it to black ones, white ones, anybody that they don't like. And they haven't worked on us. And they've been doing it. Everybody can see all along, over and over again. Right? That's what was needed. For the next stage, for somebody to see it. And then somebody to teach it. We have to teach this stuff over and over again. Like a course. You know, this is a course we're teaching people. The Muslims. Do you think the Muslims out there the other day need this course?
They definitely.
Of course they need it. Do you think, I ain't gonna mention the Masjid down that way, need it? Of course they need it. They've lost their direction. Their chief passed away. They don't know where they're going. They're just blowing in the wind.
They have no vision.
They don't have no vision. I told us, man, y'all got the same thing we're trying to get. You got a whole group of people following leadership and you don't know where to go. Good God Almighty. So that's a tough one to swallow. It is. Yeah.
And because they're not doing what they're supposed to do, you remember the highest of replacement?
Mm-hmm.
You can see it happening right there with who comes down there all the time now.
Right.
That's going to be another people's spot about another 10 to 15 years.
It seems like it already is.
It already is.
Yeah.
Because they don't know where to go or what to do. Yeah. And the Negroes we went to see in Jersey, Atlantic City, the people of knowledge. The people of knowledge. Down behind, I was talking about some old fat sheikh once that came to Philadelphia, and Zaid Shaka was telling me, I called him corpulent. He may not want to be called corpulent. And at that time, I was in the brotherly stage. So now I tell that fat joker, people bowing down to that fool, and he talking, spitting all over everybody, you know. And he talking about that. And now, here comes the people of knowledge. So we got a lot of molding and a lot of implementing to do. Simply designing our own future. So, kindness, optimism, and humor, and we want to kind of close out with that. This is, we'll have our regular Salatul Jummah and have a nice religious talk this Friday, but by Saturday evening or soon, we want to head to California. And we're really going just to pay taxes and look around, maybe do a little hollering here and there, but I'm gonna come on back because I'm gonna go more permanently at the end of the month. We have the national conference for MSA PSG in Phoenix on Christmas time, 22nd to the 25th, something like that. So I'll come back here in a couple of weeks, then I'll stay here for a while, maybe around the 17th or the 18th or something. 18th, I'll head, 17th, I'll head on out there. And from Phoenix, I'll go on to California, and we'll kick off the jihad. So I'm just going out there now to pay taxes and ride around, laugh and talk. I'm gonna take my loudspeaker just in case I feel like stopping at the police department, maybe seeing a little lawyer just to see how they feel, you know, see what it looked like, you know. But the actual, not jihad or anything, but it's the first year, you know, and then we plan to have a good time, inshallah. And any questions about all of this? Or any comments? Well, we thank y'all very much for being here. We know these things are getting to be very, people are watching, you know. So, basically, you could turn that off now. And I'll just say,